Hello and welcome to the Hub MT YouTube channel podcast brought to you by European Digital Innovation Hub and powered by MDIA, Malta Digital and Innovation Authority. Our guest speaker for today is Mr. Johan Zammit, whose enthusiasm centers around people, technology and innovation. He perpetually seeks to connect the most suitable individuals and to bridge the division between the realms of business, technology, and innovation. Welcome on this podcast.
Thank you, Pauline. It's my pleasure to be here with you today.
So, what has led you to choose such a career?
All right. I think the first step was the eureka moment, the first time I programmed the first line of code. I was still in my teens. It was still the 90s. It was the beginning of the internet. It was the first time we had PCs at home. And the first time I actually managed to do the hello world of computing and tell a computer, do X, Y, Z. And this computer, through my code, answered to what I was instructing it to do. That moment sparked something. It's like, artists when they, I am not an artistic person, but in terms of, in that moment when I programmed my first line of code, that led me to this fascinating world of technology. Then I did the course at university. It was still starting. It was the second year that Malta ever had an IT course back in the late 90s, and from there then I started my career as a developer, then as a developer manager, then I started my own software development company, and that's how I arrived here, basically.
How did your peers used to look at you, and even also family members, because working in technology in today's day and age and working in technology back then was very different?
Yeah, it was very different, although sort of these were the beginning of the year 2000, and there was the
millennium.
Yeah, the .NET boom, basically. There was it was the initial years where everyone wanted to have for the first time an online store. In fact, my first job was building online stores, building websites. Cool. At that time, 25 years ago, it was something, it was a niche. There's still sort of a lot of activity happening, but it wasn't that different in the sense like family members actually, or technology was already like part of our lives, not as much as it is today, but it was already starting to become.
Today, I would say it's not only part of our lives, but I would say in some areas it has taken over our lives.
Agreed.
So if we had to discuss technology and AI in businesses, it is not a luxury or an add-on, but it's actually a must in a business. How would you see that, and also how would you define the business goals when it comes to technology for the next 5 years?
Yeah, very good question. So we live in a fascinating time where finally, and I'll explain to you why finally, we can do something useful, something that has business value to the clients or customers of our businesses through AI. Why am I saying finally? Because first of all, AI has not started in the 2020s, although now we're passing through a bit of hype, AI. This hasn't started now. When I was at university 20 years ago, or a bit more, 25 years ago, we already were given assignments to do face recognition, for example. We used to give 5 photos of our friends and ourselves. This AI model learns our faces, and then if I give it a photo of it turned, it would say, yeah, that's Johan. So this hasn't started now. And the history of AI has started in the 40s, in the 1950s, Alan Turing, and all that. So it hasn't.
It's not a recent technology.
It's not a recent. But now, what has changed now in 2023, or in the 2020s, is that we have a culmination of all this research has reached a status where it is both accessible and financially feasible to build. So before, we did have sort of neural networks and all these technical, we did have code to do certain things, but it was the people, there weren't enough people in the world who could build AI models and AI solutions. The technology was not readily available. Nowadays, Python libraries of everything you could think of, it's there, and in 5 lines of code you can build something that learns to do some stuff. And so the technology, and it became feasible, financially feasible. So you don't need millions of euros to actually build an AI something which gives you actually result. Obviously, what happened last year in November, end of November, now we are 11 months only from the launch of ChatGPT. What this event of ChatGPT going out there and everyone uses and trying, people also understood how powerful this technology can be. And what we have seen, we had seen a growth of the AI, sort of use of AI through the years, a bit more, but in the last 1 year, everyone has new ideas of how they can use ChatGPT. By the way, ChatGPT is only a small part of the AI world. I can explain more, but it gave a lot of people ideas of how they can actually use them in their business. So that's sort of to start with, and there's a lot to say about that, but let's stop here for now.
Obviously, I think a focal point for every business is the target audience.
Yes.
Every business has an audience or more than one type of audience, and their target, their aim would be to reach that audience. How can AI help you to reach a target audience? And how do you identify what a target audience is?
All right. So before I answer this question, we need to understand that AI is actually a tool. You use AI to develop a solution for your business, to reach clients, to engage with them. So before AI, it doesn't mean that businesses did not try to reach their clients, try not to engage. So what AI provides businesses is either automation or else, for example, personalization. So if you have a database of 100,000 clients and you have their transactions, maybe before you were like, who is buying what? What is happening? What products are not selling? You had to have some data analyst. Please get me this report of our sales, how it's going, and a lot of if then else. If sales on this product are low, do this. Send this email, send this reminder. Nowadays,
which takes a lot of time.
Yes, exactly. Nowadays, we can build. An AI is actually a digital brain. So it's lines of code. It's still a piece of code. That is a digital brain. This digital brain, you can build a digital brain inside your business solution. So that this digital brain can actually understand what is happening in your business transactions. And then from there, if you are sending, for example, I don't know, emails with special offers, if you're sending reminders, if you're sending follow-ups to your clients, you can have hyper personalization, for example, but without too much effort. That is one of them. You can also use it, for example, in anomaly detection. So imagine financial industry, banks have millions of records, and you want to identify the ones which are fraudulent or which you should look at them. An AI could actually identify fraudulent transactions without sort of having the if from a third non-EU country, do this, and if from this, do this. If the bank account is more than 100, it understands the examples of fraudulent transactions and can identify actually more. Of course, AI can also do more than that. There is speech recognition, for example. We all have in our mobiles, hey Siri and hey Google Assistant and all that. These can be used in businesses too, and chatbots, for example. Nowadays, you go into a website and there is also always usually some chatbot on the side. Now, initially, those chatbots were a bit dumb. They did not answer like, what are your opening hours? And it's like, it doesn't answer you. But nowadays, there are solutions where you can feed the information, the product catalog, the opening hours, your legal terms, and everything inside the chatbot, and you can ask that chatbot anything that you want on the business, and this obviously improves the customer relationship, for example. So there are a lot of these. There are also solutions that use computer vision. Computer vision is when from images, it could be from cameras, it could be photos. The AI model understands what's happening. So, for example, I'm involved in 2 projects. For example, even now this week in computer, one is from satellite images. It determines what's happening on the ground. For example, what trees and plants. The other one is from cameras in the streets. It identifies the cars and it identifies the trajectories of cars, for example. So then obviously it depends on what the business wants to do, but the possibilities with AI are endless, and we're at a time where we can actually feasibly implement them.
I've had discussions about AI in the education sector, and we obviously spoke about the fact that when you talk about artificial intelligence, you are eliminating the human, obviously, because the human element is not there. Would you say that in a business sector, AI would replace a certain number of employees that would be required to run a business?
I think this is just this thing that AI, I think you're alluding to the fact that AI might affect, some people might lose their jobs. Mm-hmm. I think this is sort of a fear of the unknown. Like when, for example...
For the employee.
Yes.
For the employer, he might actually benefit to make use of the business using less employees.
I'll tell you how I see it. Like when, for example, automation first came to car manufacturing, for example, before there was the line of cars and one doing the tires, one doing the dashboard, one doing and there were humans. Okay, then of course robots started, and all the people that worked in car manufacturers started protesting with their unions. They are going to lose our jobs. In actual fact, that did not happen in the sense of car manufacturing companies still employ thousands and thousands of people, but there is a lot of automation. And this is what is going to happen as well in these jobs. Yes, people will have to adapt and change as we adapt technology, but it's not like we are our unemployment is going to skyrocket because of AI. People will have to upskill and improve their skills. But most of the business leaders, what they're doing is not firing stuff. It's actually doing more with the same amount of stuff. So because with AI we can do things faster, cheaper, and better, we keep the same stuff and maybe we can service more clients. So our
business is going to grow.
Exactly, business is going to grow, keeping the people that know your business, that know the industry, and you keep it. It's not like, okay, get AI and fire 10%. I don't think that will happen. Of course, we humans don't like change, so there is like that thing of we need to change.
Have resistance.
But exactly, but if we for those who are willing to upskill and change and adapt, and by the way, this thing is not whether with AI or not, we still have to continue changing and adapting in our life. So it's a natural thing. But with AI, it becomes a bit faster, maybe, this change. Yes, I don't think that this fear of losing jobs is actually going to happen. We'll see, but I'm quite convinced about that.
How would you understand your customers' pain points and how much time they would want to spend on your platform? Because obviously when we're talking about someone who's going to pay a certain amount of money to upgrade his business, to invest in AI, how would you follow that through?
Okay, as I mentioned before, we shouldn't take AI like as if it's something external or on its own. AI is actually an added tool. In the past, we had sort of a lot of technologies which like, okay, before we have paperwork and then we got everything into databases. We did not have websites and having things and catalogs publicly, and then we took our stuff and made it on websites. We didn't have online ordering, so now we're introducing AI. This needs to be taken into this context, not as like AI as something special. So in terms of link with the customer and speaking to the customer, to understand the pain points of the customer in business terms, nothing has changed. You need to speak to your customers as much as possible, irrespective of AI. Understand what they're so you're either going to have face-to-face with them, you're going to either receive the suggestions of them, suggestion box, or make a competition and try to get them to have suggestion, or speak to your front desk or whatever it is. And then the AI is going to, you can use AI to target and improve these touch points, but it's not something sort of external. There's no new business rules. The business rules, the business landscape, it will remain what we know of the business that you need to take care of. You need to have something that clients are willing to pay for. You provide the service, they pay you, and you make money because you make a markup or something. Those rules are not going to change. We can either reduce the costs or sell more, but the rules are going to be just the same. So keep speaking to clients. I'm quite, even in my own business, the customer is always right, in the sense you need to hear and speak. You need to put yourself in their shoes, because it's easy to say, no, we know our industry, we know what we're doing, we know our product is good. That is not good enough. It's what the client actually or the customer feels, and when they use they use it in their own scenario. So you need to understand, you need to have boots on the ground, ears on the ground, and actually understand that. So AI is just a
I know you work a lot, obviously, with startups, because that's the line also of your business. I think there is where we see the difference, whether you have a business which has been running for a good number of years and then they are introducing AI. The difference between a startup who are starting now, and to them, obviously, this is an automated decision that they would include it automatically. I think there you can see the difference between a startup company and a company which has been running in the market for a long time.
Yes, so with startups, they have the advantage of being small, fast, and nimble, that they can change easily. On the other hand, usually they don't have the financial resources sometimes to implement what they want. So with startups, I work a lot with startups every day. I always try to, during the mentoring sessions, I always try to make them understand, listen, let's find a pain point that the other big companies cannot are not fast enough to actually grab. Focus on it, because one of the mistakes that startup founders do is they try to build too many things, but they don't build one. Actually, they solve one pain point. Then obviously, as a startup founder, you need to have persistence, not just focus. You need to have persistence, even if others don't believe in what you're doing. you need to keep on believing in yourself, make a plan, although these plans actually change. Speak to customers, as we just mentioned before. You need to actually know what customers, build a good team, and then try to compete. On the other hand, businesses with who have a bigger size, are of a certain size, need to try to do what startups actually are doing, in the sense of identifying a problem, a niche which is not actually covered by the market, and try to actually build solutions for it. But obviously, sometimes when you're big, you're not as fast. So they need to actually learn to innovate and be fast, like startups. So this is like the chicken and egg. Startups want to be like big businesses, and big businesses want to be like startups in terms of finding a problem, a gap in the market, and close it. So
sometimes, obviously, that's why then the magic comes when two companies, one startup, work together, and then obviously they create magic.
Collaboration, open innovation. Exactly.
We have come towards the end of this podcast. If I had to tell you, what would your final and concluding message be? No matter the size of business, no matter how long has been in the market, what would your message be when it comes to AI in businesses?
Yeah, I think we should just make a full circle and actually go to where we started, which is we're in 2023, 2024 is approaching. The time is now. This is maybe we've come through decades of research and all that. I can assure you that here and now, AI can be used reliably. Of course, there are challenges with AI in terms of its biases, its accuracy, and all that. There's the legal issues. There are challenges, but the benefits outweigh these challenges by multiple factors. So my sort of my message to businesses is look at, like you've always been doing, look at your market, you look at your opportunities and threats, and definitely AI can help. Yes, you need data, you need to train, you need some expertise outside to build this AI or to buy an off the shelf. But I can assure you that the technology and the solutions exist here and now, and it will be of benefit to you all. That's my message.
And that brings us to the end of today's podcast. That was Johan Zammit. Thank you for watching.